And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Mr. Khan. And Mr. Khan writes, "Hey, John and Rob. So finally, early reviews for No Time to Die are out. Man, I was waiting for years to watch it." It's true. You have been waiting for years to watch it. So the reviews have been so far positive, and what I make out, it's a dark James Bond this time. Everything aside, what's your box office prediction domestically / worldwide? All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, Mr. Khan. And yeah, the critics and some people around the world have now been able to see the new James Bond film, No Time to Die. Something a lot of people have been waiting for, people have been excited about. Again, this movie was supposed to come out, I believe, on my 18th birthday. I can't remember, something around there. This movie was supposed to come out a long time ago. All right. But it is now played in theaters and people are watching it. And you're right. Generally speaking, the reviews are very positive, but they're not perfect. They're positive, but they're not perfect. Let's go over and take a look. Our friends over at Cinema Blend gathered together some of the more prominent ones, but here's what some people are saying coming out of it. Eric Eisenberg, who is from Cinema Blend, writes, "No Time to Die is a solid Bond film, not on the level of Casino Royale or Skyfall, but also vastly superior to Quantum of Solace and Spectre. The plot is messy, but the action is top-notch. There are some impressive surprises packed in, and it brings a satisfying end to the Daniel Craig era." Mike Riaz writes, "No Time to Die is a triumph. A perfect ending for the Daniel Craig era. It allows him and the franchise to go places rarely allowed in Bond. No notice false, no emotion squandered. The final needle drop broke me into tears. It's the next on Her Majesty's Secret Service." That's high praise. Stephen Libby writes, "What is there to even say? No Time to Die may be the least James Bond movie ever, but it's all the better for it. When Daniel Craig arrived, Casino Royale introduced us to the new Bond perfectly, and this new film says goodbye in equally fitting fashion." Eric Davis over at Fandango writes, "So No Time to Die is awesome. Classic Bond, classic villain, classic gadgets, and a story that seems to question how much we still need James Bond to save the day. Terrific writing and stunning direction from Kerry Joy Fukunaga. Loved every second. A perfect finale for Daniel Craig." And then from a friend of ours, Perry Nemiroff wrote, "I dug No Time to Die for the most part. Some beats lost momentum, but those set pieces are exceptional and beautifully photographed. Daniel Craig is great again, gives us every ounce of himself to the role, and you can feel it. But Ana de Armas was the fave. More of that, please." So, Rob, as I read around a bunch of people, and by the way, it should be pointed out right now, there is now an official Rotten Tomatoes score at the moment with 69 reviews. 69. With 69 reviews, No Time to Die is sitting at 87%. And having looked through what a lot of people are saying, there is a lot of that. Like, some people are saying this movie is like absolutely phenomenal. And then there are a bunch who are saying kind of like what Eric was saying, that, hey, you know what? It's not, Casino Royale, but it's much better than Quantum of Solace and Spectre, which I think a lot of James Bond fans, that's all they really wanted to hear. I think a lot of James Bond fans really want to hear is just tell me it's better than Quantum of Solace and better than Spectre. It doesn't have to be Skyfall. It doesn't have to be Casino Royale, which happens to be my favorite Bond film. But it seems like it's fit right in there. Not perfect. Some people are saying it's got some bumps, but everybody seems to be enjoying it, and that they're pretty much all saying it's a solid goodbye to Daniel Craig's Bond. Rob, I know you talked to some people yesterday who watched it. You've been reading the reactions for it. As somebody who's been very excited about this Bond film, what are your thoughts on all this?
Ooh, well, I have a long history in my own life with the James Bond franchise, all the way back to the 70s when I was a little kid. So the James Bond franchise means a great deal to me. The first Bond movie I saw in the theater was Spy Who Loved Me in 1977. And I'm a huge James Bond fanatic. And I have found the Daniel Craig Bond run to be frustrating in the sense that Bond, he's never had a real mission. To my mind, there's never been a traditional Bond film in the Craig franchise, because Casino Royale, which I love, I think it's easily one of the best Bond films. He's beginning as a 00, and he kind of stumbles into, it's basically the origin story of James Bond as a 00 agent. And then Quantum of Solace, which I'm an apologist for, continues that story. And then Skyfall is sort of late in his career. So we never saw Daniel Craig's James Bond as a workaday 00 going on missions to save the world. He was always sort of, we saw the end of a mission in Skyfall, but then he kind of goes AWOL, and stumbles into something. And Spectre, again, comes back. It's kind of like he's at the end of his career. Now this movie picks up where he's in retirement. So we never saw Daniel Craig's Bond actually be Bond. And I thought that was kind of odd. And the fact that this is all like one long story. And I've talked to people that are old school Bond fans like me who have said one thing that distresses me, which is this movie is Spectre 2. And I won't elaborate why they said that. But on the other hand, people that don't have a long history with the Bond franchise, a lot of our friends or reviewers and things like that who are, I'll just say, younger than me, have really enjoyed it. And they're not, Daniel Craig is a lot of, because he's been the modern Bond, he's been around for 15 years now. So if you were like 10 years old when you saw Casino Royale, you're going to be 25 now. So that's a long tenure. What do you know about Live and Let Die and Mouth of Golden Gun, which was made in the early mid 70s. So I'm cautiously optimistic going into this movie. I think it's going to be, as everyone said, beautifully made. I think it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see it. But there are certain things that I want from a James Bond movie that I don't know if this film is going to deliver. And I'm curious now, because to me, the people that I know that have the same kind of experience with Bond as I do have not been kind to this movie. But on the other hand, I read the Guardian review, which is 5 stars. There's a lot of people that really, really, really love it. So I am cautiously optimistic, and I'm very curious about the mixed reviews that I've read about and heard about this movie.
Well, like I said, right now it's sitting at 87%. So it'll be interesting to know how that number obviously it will fluctuate. As a matter of fact, it just did fluctuate. It has now gone down. There are now 5 more reviews have added, and it has gone from 86 all the way down, or 87 all the way down to 86. So right now, after about almost 3/4 of 100 reviews, 75 reviews in there now, 86%. So a solid score. It sounds exactly like what Eric said. It sounds like maybe not as good as Casino Royale or Skyfall, but it's at least sounding like it's better than Spectre.
Now, what do you think about the box office? Because I think this is the most expensive pandemic movie. They've reported the production budget as being $250 million, and because of interest payments, I read an article that said it's up to about $315 million in terms of production costs and interest payments that they've incurred. That's a big number.
Yeah.
And Spectre made, according to Box Office Mojo, $880,681,519, which is still a lot of money. I believe it's the second highest grossing Bond film after Skyfall. So the Bond franchise is still coming off a huge win streak. And I would say, John, that the closest thing we have now to Bond is Fast 9, which has grossed worldwide $716 million, which is a big number.
Yeah.
Do you think that No Time to Die can do what Fast 9 did worldwide?
No, I don't. I think it can do well. But the reality is, in this environment and what Fast 9, remember Fast 9 too, the Fast and Furious franchise has become a habitual billion-dollar franchise.
Yep.
So it making $700 million is a real big reflection on the current environment, and how challenging it is to do that. So let's say if you're talking about a 30% drop due to the circumstances, and you look at, say, the last one made 800 million, where now you're talking maybe 500, 600, maybe. And I don't even know it's going to do that. I don't even know that it can do that, because again, Fast 9 came out when we were on a real downside of the pandemic. It came out when we were in full blown pandemic recovery. And then of course the Delta variant hit and it changed the landscape again. So I think No Time to Die can do well relative to the current environment, much like, Shang-Chi did not make regular Marvel film money, but it did extremely well given its current environment and the fact that it didn't get a release in China. So I think No Time to Die, I got Spectre on the brain now. I think No Time to Die is going to open domestically to around, honestly, the same as Venom. I think Venom and No Time to Die are both going to open around $60 million. I think worldwide, I think you're going to see Bond coming around the $500 million mark. But I mean, the numbers you're highlighting here, Rob, just kind of point to there's a lot of in business terms. We're not talking about personal real lives. We're talking about business terms. No Time to Die is one of the movies that got hit hardest by the pandemic. From all the delays and the fact that it was already full blown into its marketing campaign, and then it had to go away with the marketing campaign, it had to wait another year and then remount another marketing campaign and all this kind of stuff. And I think this movie, maybe more than any other movie, is going to, at the end of the day, feel the ramifications of the pandemic more than anything else. I think at this point, it's just limit the damage as much as you can. I don't think this movie being profitable is even within the realm of possibility. I think now they're in the mode of, hey, there were circumstances beyond our control. Let's limit the damage as much as we can. And I'm thinking 500. Rob, where do you think this movie's going to do opening weekend domestically, and where do you see its global total coming in at?
Well, I think probably domestically it'll be shy of 100 million. Because the Bond films have not been giant in the States. They've been giant overseas. So I wouldn't be surprised if this opens somewhere between 70 and 80 in our current environment. And I think globally, it'll probably be between 600 and 700 million.
Wow, that's more optimistic than me. I hope you're right. Because Rob, I saw 13 minutes of James Bond, No Time to Die at CinemaCon, and I was tripping over myself. I loved what I saw so much. And granted, it was one isolated scene for 13 minutes.
Sure.
So maybe the rest of it is crap. I mean, I don't know, but I loved what I saw. So I'm very excited for this. Question is for you guys. The first reactions for James Bond, No Time to Die are now out. They're all saying it's good, but not the best Bond ever, and maybe not even the best or one of the top two of the Daniel Craig era, but not as bad as the worst ones in the Daniel Craig era. How does this adjust your excitement level? I'm still very, very stoked for this film. How are you guys feeling about it? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.